Hey guys, welcome to the video on rearranging equations into slope-intercept form. Now, slope-intercept form, a lot of you guys know it from a previous math class, is y equals mx plus b. Okay, but we're not really going to talk much about that yet. But today we're going to learn how to get equations in this form. And all we're doing pretty much is getting y by itself. So we want to get y alone on one side of the wall, and then get it in the form mx plus b. Okay, this is going to be really helpful later on. All right, so here's a bunch of equations. Your job is to isolate the y. Somehow you're trying to get y by itself. So we're going to start by drawing a wall, just like when we used to solve old equations. And if you're trying to isolate y, that means the x term has to get to the other side, right? See how the x is always on the other side? So how do you move a positive 3x over to the other side? You do the inverse by subtracting it over. Because the opposite of adding the 3x is to subtract it to the other side. Okay, so when we do that, we're left with 2y equals. Now, I'm going to rearrange the order here. Instead of 8 minus 3x, I'm going to call it negative 3x plus 8. I'm just switching the order because I always like to have the x first. And now, if you guys are really trying to get y by itself, how do we undo multiplying by 2? We divide by 2. And you're going to divide every single piece by 2. Okay, and then if we just reduce and simplify, we're done. So final answer, y equals. Now, if this fraction doesn't reduce, you're just going to leave it as a fraction. Negative 3 halves x plus 8 divided by 2 is 4. So if it divides nice, do it. If not, just leave it as a reduced fraction. So do you guys see y equals mx plus b? All right, let's try another one. Number 2, we're going to start by drawing the wall. And if we're trying to get y alone, we need to move the 2x over. Now, how do you move a subtracting 2x? We add 2x. You always do the opposite to move it to the other side. So now we have 3y equals, again, I'm going to switch the order. I'm going to do 2x plus 6. And then, how do you get y alone? The opposite of multiplying by 3 is dividing by 3. And we're going to do it to every single piece. Okay, so these cancel, and we're done. Y equals 2/3 doesn't divide, so I'm going to leave it. 2/3 x, and then 6 divided by 3 is 2. So I'm going to do that one. Y equals mx plus b. All right, let's keep going. Number 3. Same thing. Draw the wall. We're trying to get y alone. So how do we move subtracting 2x over? We add 2x over. Okay, so these cancel. And now we have 5y equals 8 plus 2x, but I'm going to switch it and call it 2x plus 8. You don't have to. And then to undo times 5, we divide every single piece by 5. All right, so these cancel. And then final answer, y equals, now 2/5 we're going to leave, 2/5 x. And then 8/5 doesn't divide either, so we're going to leave it. Only if it divides nice do you want to divide it. Done. Y equals mx plus b. All right, number 4, keep going. Draw the wall. If we're trying to get y alone, now this time we have 2 things to move over. So we definitely want to add the 3x over. But we also want to add the 7 over. right? If we're trying to get y alone, the opposite of minus 3x is plus 3x, and the opposite of minus 7 is plus 7. We want to get them both over. So now we have 4y equals, well, 0 plus 3x plus 7 is just 3x plus 7. And then lastly, to undo multiplying by 4, you guys know the drill. We divide everything by 4 and reduce if we can. So y equals 3/4, we're going to leave it x, and 7/4, we're going to leave it also because they don't divide nice. That's it. All right, now 5 and 6 are just a little bit harder, so I do want to do those too. Let's talk about number 5. So we draw the wall. Now here's the problem. We have y's on both sides. So somehow we have to get them together. But then everything else has to go to the other side. So let's start by moving the 2y over here. The opposite of plus 2y is minus 2y. Let's do that first. So now we have 3x. If we add like terms here, plus 2y minus 7 equals, and then we have 7x plus 3, right? So all we did is subtract the 2y over. And 4y minus 2y is 2y. Now that we have all the y's together, we're going to move all the other stuff to the other side. So we're going to have to minus the 3x and add the 7 over, right? Because we want to isolate the y. So now we have 2y equals, we're going to add like terms, 4x plus 10. And then to undo multiplying by 2, we're going to divide everything by 2, and let's see what we get. Y equals, well, 4 divided by 2 is just 2x, and 10 divided by 2 is 5. So y equals mx plus b. All right, last one, guys, number 6. We're trying to get y by itself, so let's draw the wall and move the 3x over by subtracting 3x. Okay, so we're left with 1/3 y equals, again, I like to switch the order, negative 3x minus 7. Now, how do you guys undo multiplying by 1/3? Well, some of you might say divide by 1/3, or dividing by 1/3 is the same as multiplying by the reciprocal, 3/1. So really, we're multiplying every piece by 3/1. So these cancel. And let's see what we got. Y equals, what's negative 3x times 3? That's negative 9x. And what's negative 7 times 3? That's minus 21. That's the answer for that one. Y equals mx plus b. Okay. Nice job, guys. That's getting equations into slope-intercept form. Thanks for watching.